Wash it off, wipe away tears. It's me, my friends making an appearance. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the Fearlist.
I just got off a call from my therapist, so I'm feeling very reflective, and I'm about to do a podcast, so let's see if this works. Oh, she's here! I love that hat.
I'm wearing it because I didn't do my hair. I need to put my headphones in.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Oh, that's much better. Can you hear me?
I like your product placement in the back.
Actually, I do. I keep all my bags, but this bag was facing on the other side, and there was like a bunch of I have Hawaiian lays underneath it. And I'm like, why don't I put my bag there?
You should put a Hawaiian lay on right now.
Okay.
Let's get laid on camera, huh?
Actually, I'm going to keep my Hawaiian lay off and keep it very earthy.
Classy. Happy Earth Revival. Quick question before we get started. Your One Lovely Planet, that's your store?
I have 2 stores. The One Lovely Planet was the original one in Europe. My reason for, this is my reason. All the products from Happy Earth Revival and this actually has forced me into having it go live like today, because when this goes live, when you post this, I want that to be live. So thank you for doing this, number one. But the Happy Earth Revival, I don't make those products. They're made here in the United States. Everything is made in the United States. And the One Lovely Planet is the sister store, and everything is made in Europe, in England. And so in this way, when people order these products, it doesn't have to travel long ways. Like, what's the purpose of ordering something and having it travel over? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? They're sister stores. One provides product for Europe overseas, and one provides product for and more local for America.
Well, that's good. Appealing to those who want to be fancy and order from Europe, and those who just want to rep our home country.
Right. And I love the One Lovely Planet. I love their product in that everything is, organically certified. It's made fair trade, and they print with sustainable ink. I love that. I love everything.
What does that even mean, sustainable ink?
Well, the ink itself can be quite toxic. And so if the sustainable, it's more of an organic ink, in that the people that are using to print with it, it doesn't make them sick. It's just better.
So if you were to eat your shirt, you wouldn't get sick.
Well, it's more about right? It's more about the people who are actually working with it. Fair trade products. It's more about the people that are working with it, like fair trade coffee. With fair trade coffee, it provides a fair trade for those, meaning financially, it keeps farmers so that they're able to hire their own people. And in turn, they want in addition to, they want their farmers working in healthier environments. And so they grow with, there's a thing called, pesticides. It's interesting, or less toxic, organic, non-toxic, I should say, pesticides, because I'm sure they use something. So all in all, purchasing fair trade is better for everybody involved.
Well, that's so interesting, because I don't think a lot of people really know the definition of fair trade. So they think that it's, because we're such an individualistic nation, that we think that it's all for us, the consumer, but when really we don't really think about the people in the factories. At least I think the majority of people don't really consider it. And that's really interesting that you put it into that context.
Right. I mean, we do have to think about those farmers and those workers in the factories, because they're the ones handling the product for us. It just doesn't show up made, right? Especially with like farmers here in America. I mean, we don't think about those farmers. It's funny that people say, oh, you're going to go buy organic. Well, yes, organic is definitely good for my body, because
I purchasing live longer. People buy organic food because they're like, one woman said, oh, I'm 101 of all I've eaten is organic food. I'm your proof.
Right. Well, way back when, I mean, she's 101. So way back when, organic, there was no such thing as organic, because that's just the way they grew their food without these toxic pesticides. And now these farmers, they're the ones that have to handle all those pesticides. And not to mention, it's just ruining the environment. It ruins the soil. We get fed this idea that by spraying, it'll produce more of a yield. True, maybe it'll produce a pretty good yield the first summer, the second summer. What happens when the soil's dead and there is no more yield? And organic has been proven by time, because organic has been grown since the beginning of time. We've been growing organically, and clearly that method works.
Yeah. Speaking of methods, since you know that this is a podcast about anxiety and being vulnerable, hence the title of Fearlist, what's your relationship to anxiety? And have you found over you're like 40 something, 42, 41?
Thank you. I'm 48.
48, over your 48 years of 48 years of life. What is your methodology for handling the anxiety that you feel?
The way I handle anxiety is honestly taking a deep breath. Just stop. I just stop and I breathe. And
let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Ready? Okay. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. My yoga teacher's going to come out. Close your eyes. Think of a serene waterfall. Just kidding.
Breathe through the nose. Out the mouth. And another method that I recently came upon, which I don't know if this is Buddhist or what it is, but by just the sound of boom, boom, like taking a deep breath and saying boom.
Interesting.
Saying it long, and it just really, like, that constant flow really just helps me breathe.
Yeah, do you know much about because I know we've talked about Sanskrit stuff before, and like the magic, if you will, of chanting. Do you know if there's any science behind why the sound, like if there's any sound therapy that's involved with that, of like chanting a mantra out loud? Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but Deepak Chopra does.
Well, then maybe I should end this call and call Deepak Chopra.
I think you should. I've listened to his meditations, and they're amazing. They really are.
I thought Deepak Chopra was a man. I mean, a woman.
Man. No, a man, and his meditations are amazing, amazing. And he does speak Sanskrit. His different mantras. So you'll hear the mantra while you're listening to his meditations, like meditations for abundance. Abundance, not necessarily abundance just because of money. Abundance just in every aspect of your life, feeling abundant.
Do you feel like you have a lot of fear about abundance, or do you feel like you live quite an abundant life?
I had fear about abundance, hence the reason why I was like, I just don't have enough money. Oh, I mean, I'm an adjunct professor at a community college. Teachers don't make a whole heck of a lot of money anyway. And so, yes, my fear of like money. And then and I also have gone back to when I was younger, and I literally would travel on a dime and never worry about money. So I thought to myself, if I lived like that when I was in my 20s, what am I freaking out about right now? And I did listen to some of those abundant meditations and really think about abundance. What does abundance mean to me? And really, I feel blessed. I feel very abundant with my friends, my beautiful friends like you. Yay! My beautiful friends, my family, my parents, my sister, my husband. I'm a stepmom. She's amazing. I have a home. I have a roof over my head. I live tiny home living. I live in a small home, but it's a home with a roof over my head. I have everything. I have my favorite cup of, fair trade coffee with this pretty little flower cup that
S, that stands for spectacular.
Special. No, I got it for my birthday. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel abundant. I do. And it's a mind shift, yes.
Right. I want to talk more about, because you were the first person that kind of opened me up spiritually to manifestation, right? And that's like kind of an unknown territory for a lot of people. People don't think that they can create their own lives. I watched a TED talk recently about like designing your own life from the perspective of a product designer, and how we can really do that. We can go into a place and design our life. I think a lot of people don't think that they have a lot of control over their life. And I want you to tell a story of your husband, Tom, and how you manifested him in your life again.
Right? Okay. I'll try and give you the abridged version because this is a long story. So I met him in 1995. I want to say 96, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I wanted to meet someone. I knew it. Like I had already manifested him before I even met him. I knew what I wanted and what the type of, I didn't specifically say, I want this man to be 6'4", blonde hair. That's not what I was thinking. I was like, I want someone that I can connect with, that wants to travel, these things. I'm a list person. And in that time in my 20s, I wrote lists of what I wanted. I was very much so into lists, and I followed them. And I manifested them in my head. I knew this is what I want, so this is where I'm going. And I knew I wanted to travel. I also, by the way, I didn't feel like I needed to control everything either. I kind of lived by the seat of my pants, kind of in control, but not in control. Like a friend of mine said, listen, so I met Tom and he was in Chicago and I was living in Arizona at the time. And then a friend of mine said to me, hey, I'm going to Ireland. Do you want to go? And I thought, yeah, why not? She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'll go. So I didn't have any money. And at the time, when I had just met Tom, I said, Tom, I don't think things are going to work out between us. Not that I didn't want them to, but I'm like, I'm going to go to Ireland. He's like, really? I'm going to Ireland too. I said, get out of here. He was going through a program that he had already signed up with. Anyway, I literally had truthfully, I worked really hard to pay off a school loan. I didn't want to go, and school at the time is not what it costs now, by the way. So I paid that off and I took off with all I had was $100. I bought my ticket and I didn't even have a return ticket. I had $100 and I took off. And I literally flew by the seat of my pants for a year with him. And we traveled. And at that time, we just traveled. Anyway, as life would have it, blah, 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 I joined a band, blah, 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 blah. And then we broke up. So I then realized, oh my gosh, he is really the one. So I wrote this list. I want to graduate with my master's. I finished my thesis, quit smoking, whatever, quit drinking, all this stuff. And then, which I didn't stop drinking, but anyway,
I know.
I do like my wine. The very bottom of the list, I said, I want, marry Tom Harkenrider. And I completed my list. Well, the wine thing was kind of a joke, but I completed my list and we ended up getting married.
And your sister read that list out loud at your wedding.
She did. I was mortified. Yeah, I was mortified. She didn't know what she was. Okay, so of course she was my maid of honor and she had to give a speech. And she's like, I don't know what kind of a speech I'm going to give here. And I had already cleaned out all my stuff except for this list at the bottom of my hamper. And she found it. And that was her speech, was my list.
Wow. And while you were at your wedding, while you were drinking, and she was reading off the quit drinking.
And that's true.
As someone who has quit drinking twice, cold turkey, it's not easy.
It's not easy. But truth be told, at the time I was, okay, I'll be honest. At the time, I was really depressed and I think that I was drinking more than now. I truthfully, I don't really drink a lot. I drink wine because I enjoy food and I enjoy cooking and I like to pair the two, and I do like wine, yeah. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes socially I'll sit around, I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have had that extra glass of wine. But
yeah, I mean, we all go through that kind of like inner turmoil and regret. But you said something about depression, and I was like, is that something that you've struggled with, or is that something that was more circumstantial?
circumstantial for sure. Definitely. I was
But as opposed
sad.
to anxiety, or that's something that's kind of always carried with you?
Yes. My family, my sister, my dad is a nervous wreck sometimes. The thing is he overthinks things. And so does well, everybody in my family. My sister's had panic attacks,
Right.
has had a major panic attack. And then also, I think after that, she just sort of, so she handles that uh, with her nervousness. Actually, holistically, there's this great product that she sprays in her mouth. It's a quick recovery, I think, or I forget what it's called. And before meetings, before having to talk with teachers, she's a speech pathologist and has to give meetings. She used to like kind of shake a little bit, and she would use this. And I'm not sure what herbs are in this, but it works. And my dad would use it as well, and it worked.
You don't know the name of the product?
Rescue remedy, rescue. Let me tell you right now. But yeah, we all do kind of have a little bit. I don't know why. I I don't even know if maybe there's a little bit of a cultural thing too. Being immigrants, we've always been like so hard on ourselves, work hard, work hard. My dad never took a day off of work in my entire life. He
Mm.
did take off of work when he attended all of our graduations. And my sister and I both have our masters. So he took those days off to attend our graduations. And I mean, I was born on Christmas Day, so no reason to take that day off.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Here's a Sylvia.
Yeah.
Um,
Hi.
yeah, that's so interesting. I wonder if like children of immigrants feel a certain level of anxiety because that's more hard to explain because like it's not general anxiety. It's like this almost like an insane pressure.
We do feel an insane pressure, absolutely, within the community as well. I was raised in Arizona, and there was a small Croatian community at the time, and it was like this underlying. No one said anything, but I felt like there was an underlying. I mean, not to each other, but there was like this underlying competition, almost like we are doing very well in America. Like everyone's doing good in America. So let's just do the best that we can and show everybody how great we are. How great we are.
I was just thinking of this song. You've seen West Side Story? I want to be in America. I
Want
want
to
to
be
be
in
in America.
America.
What are you showing me? All right, we're product promoting right now. I'm not being sponsored, but here we go. Yes, send that link to me because it's always good. The reason, like, obviously, I started this podcast in so many different ways. Obviously, just to realize that we're all sharing this human thing, which is anxiety, and some people have it worse than others. But there's also a multitude of ways to cope with it than what we're told to, which is to ignore it, which seems to be the common thread with people. Like they just want to keep going and ignore it and keep being busy. And then there's also holistic remedies, which your sister seems to have great success with.
She's having great success with that. I'll tell you, for me, I don't think it's one specific remedy. I think that works. For me, what works for me, truthfully, is I love to walk my dog outside and take in the fresh air. And I really don't care how hot it is outside. I do feel better once I even just walk around the neighborhood. I need to go out there, take a deep breath, and clear my head. And I don't like to self-diagnose, but I almost feel like I have a little bit of ADHD or something because I'm all over the place constantly, and by walking around, it kind of clears my head. And my head still is bouncing, but I feel like
A little more centered. Yeah.
Yes, more centered.
Well, the theme of this episode actually is Mother Nature. And that's like I wanted to talk to an environmentalist and a stepmom. And I'm also interviewing my friend Heather, who is a mother as well. And she's very mindful. Like we met at an ashram together. And the thing that you were talking about where it's like nature is something that is so helpful for anxiety and depression and everything. And people don't even realize like the healing benefits.
The healing benefits of nature are amazing. So taking a walk around the neighborhood, I started a garden with my husband. Gardening, sticking my fingers in that soil and gardening is so relaxing. It's so satisfying, especially knowing that I'm about to pick an organic food because I don't spray anything, and that's huge too. And just being out there listening to the birds. Another thing that I use, truthfully, and I don't mean to do another product thing, but I just happen to have it sitting here. I wasn't planning on showing you this. It does calm me. Well, I'm 48, the hormone situation. And so I like to use essential oils. So I have a little hormone. I didn't think to bring this, but do you see it?
Hormones? Wait, what's,
It's
yang lang.
It's called Ancient Apothecary. Oh, yeah, I couldn't see it. Ancient Apothecary, and it's hormones for women. And I'm using it. It just, number one, when I wear it, I always get people going, what kind of perfume are you wearing? And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to really, the hormone thing, but I like the smell of it. It makes me feel better. So I like to use essential oils. I like to walk around the neighborhood and I like to garden. Oh, and yoga.
Have you ever tried? Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely a mindfulness approach to your anxiety. But have you ever tried CBD oil? I just started it and I feel like it's not doing anything for me. But then again, anxiety is such a kind of full body experience where it's like anxiety also, it lives in your mind, but then it also tenses up the body. So it's possible that CBD oil, when people say that they're not getting an effect from CBD oil, that it's actually working just not in the way that you thought it was going to be, like where you think that your mind's just going to slow down and not have such rapid thoughts. And it's really just more so for your body not to feel like it's constantly under attack.
I tried CBD oil. I had a bottle of it. It didn't do anything for me.
Exactly. Like I think a lot of people, it doesn't do anything for them. And I wonder why that is.
I think but then there's also a variety of CBD oils. There are a variety and different strains. Like there's different strains of marijuana. It just depends. Maybe I didn't buy the right product.
Exactly. Maybe I didn't just be coughing up $60, $150, like just to try new CBD oils.
Right.
There is no one size fit all for methodology to get rid of your stuff, right? Like everyone, it goes with everything, depression, your life. There's no one size fits all for your life. And that's hard to acknowledge.
But I do think that your senses have something to do with how you feel. So I do keep an essential oil. I don't know if you can, I have an essential oil and a diffuser going off right now with.
Saw that. I was like, oh, she's humidifying. Nice.
Yeah, I have a diffuser. I really like it. I do. For me, again, it's the essential oils that I really like. And I've had people come into my home saying, I love the way it smells and it's very calming in here. And that's the thing. I just want.
Do you think that essential oils are kind of placebo?
If they are, then it's working for me. So
right.
If they are, maybe they are, maybe they aren't.
Well, the thing is, because I don't think it's really like there's like any science. It's the same thing with some spices. Like there's no really like scientific evidence. They know that it can lead. Like there's been studies that can lead to this, and it has the possibility to do this. But I don't think there is anything. And the same thing with essential oil, where it's like. Also, again, it's like what we're talking about. Like placebos exist for a reason. It's because if you're dealing with something that's mental, like anxiety, then if you do think like if essential oils make you think that you don't have that bad of anxiety or CBD oil, then like fucking go for it.
I don't. If it is a placebo, it is. If it's not, I mean, look at perfume. A woman walks past a man wearing a beautiful perfume. They're like, hey, well, who is that? I smell something. The same thing with men. There's nothing more sexy than smelling right, but that's scent. But then again, those are pheromones, and pheromones are, chemical. And so I don't know.
Jennifer
essential
Love
oil.
Hewitt?
Yes.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. She like went on an interview to say like, oh, I wear legitimate fucking vanilla, like the actual cooking vanilla on her, because she swears that men are just so enticed by it.
Vanilla,
the smell of vanilla. And I'm just like, so you want to smell like food so that they'll eat you?
Maybe that's what they want.
Well, maybe that's what she wants. That's what.
Or maybe that's what she wants.
I mean,
Yeah.
hey, to each their own. To each their own.
To each their own.
She's clever when she doesn't try.
She,
So I'm gonna wrap this up and ask you the thesis question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, Silvia Harkenrider. If you could truly live fearlessly, what would you do?
If I could truly live fearlessly, I would. I'm a traveler. I would travel with nothing in my pocket and just go and see what happens. Nothing, but you know what I mean? And not worry about money. I would just go and just do it.
Like when you were younger, when you did that in Ireland.
Yes.
So living fearlessly is returning to that.
Returning to that. Yes. Because then there's no, I mean, it's really fearless just to go and not worry about anything. Oh, where am I going to sleep tonight? And what am I going to eat? And who am I going to meet? And what am I going to see? And whatever. And not plan anything. Just go. Just.
That's really interesting. Dwayne, my first podcast guest, he said the same thing, that he would travel. And it's interesting that we associate travel and fear together for some reason, because like people get so stuck in their comfort zone.
Yes.
And when you think of someone who's a traveler and a nomad, like my friend Sam, she's a complete nomad. She like just she literally, as you say, like flies by the seat of her pants and like just travels. She doesn't care where she lands. But at the same time, like she also probably has a fear of settling down. So like no matter what you look at, like the grass is always greener, right? So
Right. Well, the thing is, yeah, but exactly. But at my age, at 48, I have a job. I have, so if you were to ask me, what were you to do? If I had to do something fearless right now, just let all my responsibilities go and just go, I would just travel.
You know what I can imagine
like
you doing? I can imagine you and Tom like investing into like a little Winnebago and just for a year traveling the States with Hazel.
I wanted to do that. I really wanted to
like fly Hazel out like to see her mom and everything every once in a while, like wherever the city that you land in. But like I could totally see you guys doing that. You already live tiny house living,
Yeah, I would do that. I love that. I would love to do that. I mean, to me, like jumping out of an airplane, that's not that scary.
I've done that. And
I just don't think it's.
As someone who's done that, but it was tandem, right? So I was attached to this guy I think his name was Big Jim. And I was like, aren't you supposed to pair people up with their weight sizes? Why am I with Big Jim? What are you trying to say about me? No, but he was amazing. And I remember we were flying out, like we were above Hawaii in the sky. And I was like, woo! Because I'm a freaking insane person. And he goes, you should do this. Like you should be a flight instructor. What do you call it? What's it called?
An instructor, I guess.
Yeah. I almost said swim instructor. I was like, unless you're swimming through the sky.
A parachute instructor or something.
Parachute instructor. Skydiving.
I don't know.
God, why
Skydiving.
Why did we literally forget what
I have no idea.
So he was like, you should be a skydiving instructor. And I was like, why? Like we're literally having this conversation in the sky. And he goes, because you're crazy enough. The people that flock to skydiving instructors or to just skydiving in general are pretty crazy. And I was like, thank you. I know I'm crazy.
I love it. I love it.
Well, it's like we all have fears, right? Like for some people's fears is jumping out of a plane, and then some people, and that's more of an external thing. And then some people's fears are more internal, which is more my thing, which is like intimacy issues and all that good stuff. Yay. So thank you, Silvia, for doing the podcast. Your episode I'm going to stop recording actually.
But it's called The Story of Plastic. And unfortunately, the fossil fuel industry fed us this lie. I think it was in the 80s. Oh, go out there and pick the garbage. We have all this stuff. Pick it up and recycle it. Just go ahead and pick it all up. Like this whole, let's save the planet by cleaning this shit up. No, let's save the planet by you stop creating the mess. So they have this is a part of the Green New Deal, and it's a part of a lot of other legislation. The Green New Deal, what they want to do is, this is the one portion I paid attention to. I don't know about the rest of it, but what they want to do is they want to force though the fossil fuel industry, they're making it. So if you're making it, then you should be responsible for cleaning it up and paying for the cleanup, because we, as Americans, we subsidize them. We give them money to fuck up our planet, essentially, and then we have to pay to clean it up. So we as taxpayers are paying, giving them money and subsidies, and we're paying to clean it all up. Give me 1 second. Hazel's at the door. Hold on.
She had no idea. I was like, I like when she gets on tangents.